Hey there, good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa. And as we've talked about, this time of the year with the interest rates being low, a lot of people are thinking about refinancing their home. And there's lots of questions about that. So I'm doing a new mortgage. I'm trying to figure out how all this process works. I don't really understand because I don't have somebody to help me navigate all of this. So what does all this look like, and how do I go through all these processes, and what are all these different things I have to do? And so because I really like to talk about things that you guys have questions about, and because I recently did a refinance for someone close to me, I said, tell me the questions that you have that you don't really understand the answers to, and those are some things I really wanted to talk about with you guys over the next couple weeks. And we started talking about some of this stuff, but today I really wanted to talk about if you're refinancing your house and you're borrowing money so you can, against your home, so you can cash out or get some cash to pay off bills, to buy something, to do improvements to your home, whatever that might look like. When you do that refinance and you sign all of those papers, that cash, where does that come from and when do you get it? And that was one of the common questions that I got, not only from this particular refinance that I'm talking about, but also from over my 30 years of owning a title company experience. When people would do a refinance, that was the number one question. If I'm getting cash out, where does it come from and how do I get it? And so usually when you're at the closing table, somebody will explain that to you. But because there's so many things going on leading up to that, I want you to be empowered to know some of these things before you even get to that point. So that's why I try to talk about things as we go along so you guys get it. And so if it spurs another question, you can share that with me. And or even if maybe you don't have the question, but maybe somebody you know does. So I want you to share that. So let's talk about this for a minute. When you refinance the house you live in, by law, the mortgage company has to give you 3 business days to change your mind after you sign all those papers. So you go through this whole process, you get everything approved, you actually sit down at a closing and you sign all the paperwork, and you don't get anything that day. And the reason is because legally they have to give you a cooling off period to make sure that even though you sat through this whole loan process, that you want to make sure that you actually really want this loan. If something changes in your circumstances or whatever, then you technically have the right to cancel that loan within those 3 days, 3 business days after you sign those documents. So if that happens, and you're borrowing that money against the house you live in, then if you're refinancing, then you do have that time. And because of it, wherever that cash is coming from or whatever you're doing with that refinance, your loan won't be paid off until those 3 days are up. Any credit card bills maybe that you've borrowed to against your house to pay off, it won't be paid. Any of those costs at that closing won't be paid because no money changes hands anywhere. Nothing happens. Those documents actually sit in limbo for 3 business days. So after that 3 business days, then all of that starts to happen just as if it was the day that you signed everything. But because of that requirement, it doesn't happen until those 3 days are up. So once those 3 days are up, what usually happens is the title company that's doing your closing will offer to let you come by and pick up a check. They can mail it to you. Maybe they can FedEx it to you. Maybe they can wire it directly into your account. So it takes a couple of days before they can actually fund that money. And you also have to remember that the title company is waiting for those funds to come from your mortgage company. The mortgage company doesn't release those funds until those 3 days are up. So even though, let's say you were waiting for those 3 days so you could get that cash in your hand, at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. on the 4th day, the title company is not going to have more than likely those funds sitting in their account to be able to cut that check for you or send that wire for you. They're probably waiting for the lender to do that, and the lender more than likely is going to be doing it that morning. And so it may be somewhere a little bit later in the day. Likewise, if any bills are being paid off for you, the funds will be available that day, and then the title company will make those payments based on what you guys agreed to. So that's why your funds aren't available, why you don't get a check right at the closing table if you're cashing out on your refinance to do some things. That's why you don't have that check actually available to you directly at the closing table. Now, with a caveat to that, if you're refinancing a property that is not your primary residence, let's say that you have an investment property and you're borrowing money against that and getting some cash out to do some things, totally different rules. That funds on the day that it is closed. And the reason for that is because this whole law about the 3 business days to change your mind doesn't go into effect on the property that you don't live in. And the reason for that, the theory is that because it's not your primary residence, it wouldn't affect your living status. It wouldn't cause you a problem if there was some kind of reason that you had a problem with the loan, because it's not the place that you actually live. And so the federal government has that rule in place on the primary residence to protect your ownership of the house that you actually live in. So investment property, whether it's a commercial piece of property or it's an investment, it's something, a house that you own that you rent out, maybe a beach house or whatever, those properties you will get the cash at the table. Your primary residence, you will not get the cash at the table. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit about how that works. Thank you so much for tuning into Coffee with Connie. Remember, we still have some of those 20-ounce coffee mugs. So if you hit that share button below, you can get one of those 20-ounce coffee mugs that everybody's talking about and using all over the country. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hit that share button and share this information with people that know you, because maybe somebody you know is refinancing and doesn't know all these details. Hopefully I helped you with a little bit of information today. Thanks so much for tuning in to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.